Good morning. It's Mark Lanier with your video thought for the day. So this week, as I'm in Cleveland, Ohio, I'm spending some time in my quiet time in 2 Corinthians. So I thought I'd take each message this week from 2 Corinthians and share with you some of the things going on in my head and in my life. And the passage that I want to share with you today is one from 2 Corinthians chapter 5, and it starts in verse 6. Is really helpful for me. Helpful with what I've got going on. I hope it's helpful for you as well. In it, Paul writes, "So we are always of good courage." And that Greek word, which is translated good courage, means this idea of courageous. It means brave. It means we have an attitude that allows us to proceed where other people might be frightened or timid or afraid, but we can proceed boldly if we know we're proceeding with the Lord. It reminds me of the story of Elisha, one of God's prophets in the Old Testament. And a king sent his army to go capture Elisha. And Elisha's servant panics when he realizes that the foreign king is there with his army, or his army is there to grab Elisha. And Elisha says, "You don't understand that those who are with us outnumber them." And the servant's eyes were opened, and he was able to see the angels that were encamped around Elisha to protect him. It's a marvelous story that illustrates the idea that God doesn't leave his people abandoned. God doesn't tell us to have courage, to be brave, simply because he wants to get us off his back because we're whining or complaining about something. We're told to be courageous and brave because God's with us, even though, in a sense, we're not with him. Let me explain what I mean. Right now, I'm in this human body of fallen Mark Lanier. I'm not physically in the presence of the Lord. Yes, I am, but no, I'm not. I hope you get what I mean. Paul talks about it this way in the same Corinthians passage, after he says that we're always of good courage. He says, we know that while we're at home in the body, we're away from the Lord. And in that sense, God is present. His Spirit is present within us. He is all around us, but it's not something that we so readily sense in the way of our senses, the smell, taste, vision, hearing. And that's why Paul says that we walk by faith and not by sight, which he continues to say in that verse. So you put all of this together, and what do you have? You have Paul's recognition that even though I don't physically see God with me right now, I know by faith he is with me. Even though I don't physically see his hand guiding me, I know by faith he guides me. Even though I don't physically see his angels encamped around me, I know by faith he has his protection there for me. And that's the reason I can go always in good courage, bravely, into whatever God has for me to do. And that's something you can do as well. So as you face your day, whatever is in store, walk in God's will and know that he protects you, that he guides you, that he empowers you, and that he works through you. That's something you know by faith, not by sight. But see if that faith doesn't become sight, in the sense that you'll look back over time and say, thank you, God, for working in me. He will never disappoint you. And that's your video thought for the day.